limits. You cite in the request also that Chapter 6 of the master plan states that neighborhoods and housing as Goal 6, that one of the goals was to create walkable neighborhood commercial districts and nodes. I would say that the support of creating a walkable neighborhood district or node is almost unconscionable, considering that the only sidewalks existing in the area of this proposed dollar store are on the south side of Jefferson Page, leading from a community where every home has 2.5 vehicles. There are no sidewalks on either side of Jefferson Page, east or west, nor are there any on the sides of Pine Road north of Jefferson Page. So then citizens attempting to walk to a business are at risk walking on the streets or in the weeds to get to the dollar store, and a very few risk getting to retail stores that are already there. I went over there when I heard about this, and I just took the time out of my day and left my flowers sitting to see how many people walk up and down those streets. We don't have foot traffic in those areas that would be supporting going to such an establishment. The kids that are walking, the families that are walking, even on the side where that neighborhood is off of Jefferson Page to the west, are taking chances coming down, walking on to get to the Circle K and the Family Dollar that's already there. Are we thinking of the citizens, putting them at public safety risk? Thus, I say this kind of thinking presents a public safety hazard for citizens walking to this establishment if this site approval is approved. The request states that in filling an emerging commercial node in an area with limited non-residential services. I live in this community, and I've been living in this community 6 years. I don't know of any limits or hearing anybody in my community, and we do meet, we do talk among ourselves and in the different neighborhoods. I don't know that we've said to anybody that we have found that there are limited services. I heard Mr. Gage say that they've done their research and the market will hold such another establishment. Well, what happens when you put one across from the other or two in the same neighborhood? They swapping customers. And I don't know if you guys know, but the Family Dollar that's there already has already reopened and had a grand reopening back in the fall because it's having problems, okay? So I'm asking that you not allow another dollar store. We'll have 7 dollar stores. And by the way, one of my elected officials told me that we got Dollar Mania coming up in the old Kroger building. How many dollar stores do they need to saturate in our community? The other thing I would like to say, he may have B3 zoning already, and I'm trying to understand his perspective as a businessman and an investor. But we have enough absentee landlords and investors who are not here to see about their property. They come in and make these promises that they're going to do these things with these facilities. And I heard Mr. Gage, you know, he has a budget. You know, can he put the store in that's going to be representative of the area where this store is going? I almost fainted when I saw that building. He talking about 9,000 square feet. That makes it about 3 times the one that they got in up on 70th Street. Okay, so what I'm saying is the situation, the circumstances, the high density of dollar stores already in the area does not call for another dollar store. In closing, the community is willing to sit down and meet with the landowners and developers to share the work that we believe meets our community need and that the community will support with their paychecks. Our community is not anti-business but wants sustainable restaurants, retail, and entertainment that preserve and or improve the area, which is what we see that the master plan should have done. So this gentleman wouldn't sit here challenging Mr. Kirkland, who has said to him as the planning staff, the manager of everything here, that couldn't you do better? And he's saying, well, yes, I can, but, you know, I mean, so representing the 6 neighborhoods that I was able to get to today before I put this letter together and came down here, I want to say that on behalf of the 6 organizations that we were in touch with, that we do not support another dollar store in our community. And I ask that you know, we sit down and talk to this gentleman. Maybe he develops some other kind of businesses. But we do have a working vision that we can share with him on what the community believes and has spent time in seeking and what we want in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? Do we have anybody else who wants to speak in opposition to this request?
You're right. That is right.
My name is Gwen Phelps. I live at 6635 Santa Monica Shreveport, Louisiana, 71119. And I just want to go on record saying that I am opposed to it because of the saturation of dollar stores in our neighborhood. And I don't think I can add anything to what Joyce said. And I am also a board member of the West Shreveport Alliance. So I'm just going on record to say, please deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else to speak in opposition to this request? Anyone else? All right. Sir, you have the opportunity for rebuttal if you choose to. You got any juice left? You got to understand, we make big bucks to sit up here. I want you to know that.
Yeah, free lunch.
Be on your side of the table next time. Basically, I understand what these women are saying. I really do understand where they're coming from and what they're saying with the amount of dollar stores that are here already. Basically, Dollar General gave me a job to do, come down here and get a permit for a store. This is where they want it located, and all I can tell you is the facts that I have. There is some money in the budget. There is not a lot of money in the budget, but there is some money in the budget, and I am willing to put that toward the facade of the building and toward the landscape of the building. As far as bringing a different type of development in here, our company is looking in Shreveport to build shopping centers, restaurants, so on and so forth. Whether it works in this location or not, I can't say that at this point. As far as this development is concerned, and as far as GBT is concerned, this is going to be a Dollar General, or it won't be anything that we do in this location. Like I said, I am more than willing to sit down with any community group, any of you, discuss how we can improve the looks of this building, hopefully come to an agreement on what everybody agrees to. One thing you have to remember, these are economic bad times. I'm talking about pumping almost $1 million into this site. I'm talking about bringing 12 to 15 job opportunities to this location. Sales tax, property tax, and it should be a win-win for everybody concerned. We wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be willing to spend the kind of money that we're talking about on this location if we thought it was only going to last for 5 years. It just wouldn't happen. We can't do it. We wouldn't be able to stay in business. So if you'll give me a second chance, I'll be more than happy to come back and meet and talk with anybody that's willing to meet with me and see if we can come to an agreement on what is acceptable to everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, then we'll move to the next case, and I'm sure it's kind of related. SC 20-12, Jeremy Bias. Is that individual present?
I know that they are an out-of-town surveying firm that is associated with this case. This is the associated subdivision that would divide the land out in order to make the building site for the case that you just heard.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to stipulate that all the public comments from the previous case be applied to this case as well,
Should be, these guys work for me.
because it's related. The two are related.
All right, then. The gentleman indicates that they work for him. All right. Any other comments relative to this particular case?
I think you still have to call for the...
You betcha. Do we have anyone that cares to speak in opposition to this individual case, SC 20-12? Any opposition? In that it's an associated case, we will let the minutes reflect that the comments made to the prior case would apply in this particular manner. In the interest of time, is that applicable to the board?
Absolutely.
Please say yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We'll go to case number P4-12, J&J Exterminators.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes,
may.
sir.
Isn't this the one where the gentleman?
Yes.
The gentleman that was going to be here for this hearing was unable to be here for some emergency that he had to be out, but
Fiance's mother's funeral.
we didn't see any problems with his site plan, and we told him we would advise you that if you look at it carefully, it does, everything looks like it's
Yeah.
in good condition and should be acceptable, but he was going to try to be here, but he just couldn't.
Are there any persons present who care to speak in opposition to this request of J&J Exterminating? Anyone in opposition to case number P 4-12? All right, thank you very much. This concludes the hearings unless I'm off base here just a moment. I'd love to be able to take a 5-minute break even though it's after 5 p.m. Let's just do that. And then we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Works. ID, you need to do some calisthenics for us.
4.5.
I'm gonna do the pole dance. You call me and let me know, because I want to see it. You want to see
I'll be on
that would be hilarious.
Keys and get out of here.
It's cold in here.
Can't leave here. Can't leave here. And y'all still got
I think we got a solution.
Ready to vote.
There I came up with.
We'll be able to get paid over
Down South Louisiana, we call that razoo. Down South Louisiana, we call it razoo. Razoo's all the tricks.
Right, exactly, erasing.
Haven't heard that before.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are about ready to move up to the top of the agenda and work our way through the various requests in this particular part of our hearing. As we approach the public hearing, we'll go back to case number SP 11-09 and P 38-07.
Mr. Chairman, today's been quite enlightening to me. We've never had an opportunity to put on record my position as an MPC commissioner. I'm going to take, even though it's kind of late, I want to take just a few minutes to do that.
Go right ahead.
I've been on this commission a long time. I was on this commission when we approved 12 Oak subdivision. When 12 Oak subdivision came before this board, we were very concerned about the extension of 3132. And that was an issue in our approval of 12 Oaks, and we wanted assurances that the approval of 12 Oaks would not impair the extension of 3132.
Right.
And we were told that the portion of 12 Oaks that we actually denied was the portion that's over there now that's in question, where we think there's going to be an extension of 3132. The preferred corridor that goes through 12 Oaks that Mr. Stonecipher put on the board, we have never seen that before in our lives. We had no idea that that was a preferred corridor when we voted to approve 12 Oaks. And so we've been working in the dark, and to some degree I feel deceived that we were never given all the facts, and we made decisions in good faith that we were protecting the 3132 corridor. And as a board, we still want to protect the 3132 corridor.
And Desi, if I may inject something right there, what you're saying is exactly correct. What we have heard from a lot of people amounts to their opinion of what they thought was there was no officially adopted corridor, there was no right-of-way purchased, so no actions took place that made it official. In fact, I remember several of those studies, one of which Al Bergamini did with NTV back in the 90s. And all of those were just efforts to locate or determine where an extension roadway might go. And it only, in fact, if it hadn't been for the MPC, the odds are we wouldn't be looking at 3132 from Burt Coons to Fronto Lucas today. We spent 10 years pushing that and finally got Congressman McCrary and others to approve building that. I remember the Shreveport Public Works Director being opposed to that. And the bottom line is, the MPC is the one entity that did do, in my opinion, its job and did promote the building of 3132, and it's still doing so. I'm sorry to step on what you were saying, but the bottom line is, none of those other corridors had any official status.
Well, with that said, I'm going to make a motion.
Please go right ahead.
My motion's in two parts. The first part of my motion is that the MPC staff initiate a rezoning request from the MPC to delete stipulation 3 from ordinance 4724 of 2007. And in addition to that, Mr. Larkin has a temporary construction access road that is permitted, and he can use that temporary construction access road to the fullest extent that he wants to use that temporary construction access road. But I make a motion that any change in that road or any approval of any other alignments in that corridor be denied.
And that he would then use his rails back,
And he will use the rails
entry,
back
exit
entrance
as
and
the
exit
primary point
for his
of, and he can
subdivision.
always come back
He can
at any
appeal.
future date, once the study is done or whenever, but it would not deny him the right to start building houses and sell them.
Can we,
Start building.
Well, once we get it would be
stipulation
probably
removed.
next month before we could get that amended language up on that step number 3 before y'all. And of course, anybody who wants to, Mr. Larkin or others can speak in favor or against it at that time, but I think it's a good solution.
can we add a step along, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I just
Point of
wanted
order.
to name the 3 steps again so I can understand what.
Well, the first thing, we're going to delete the stipulation from the original rezoning that mandated him having access to Florno Lucas
And it
Road.
mandated the building of the road from the bridge to Florno Lucas.
Because it's position of this board that we do not want to even give the perception that we're giving approval to anything that could impair the extension of 3132.
Okay.
That is top priority.
And basically, your motion is saying, in addition to revising that step, is to leave that construction entrance, nothing more than that.
Right. It's a temporary construction access, that's what's permitted, and we're not giving it any status beyond what's currently permitted
At this point in time.
at this point in time.
Is that good, Ms. Merritt? Your clarification, is that okay?
Yes,
All right,
yes.
please continue. That was it. Mr. Ferdinand?
Shouldn't we add a step that failure to abide by this agreement shall result in building permit denied?
Well, I think we can discuss that when we actually take up
Okay.
in the
Do
public
it
hearing.
then?
And that, Larry, that would be a good time to discuss that.
Then we need,
I'll
That'd
say
be a
it.
we're looking for a
stipulation.
second.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no.
Mr. Chairman, was
Motion's
that
carried. Yes, sir.
unanimous of the board?
Yes, sir, it was. All right. Case number P6-12. This one, I think we talked about deferring as it relates to the water ordinance.
I make a motion, we defer, and we ask the staff to assemble a committee of local engineers, developers, business people that would,
Mobile home dealers,
that have an interest in this ordinance,
right.
as well as other technical professionals that would give advice to that committee. I think this is a good start. I think everybody knows we have to do something. And so this gets us on the track of coming up with something that's workable. Stephen, I do have one engineer that's already volunteered for the committee, so I'll give you his name after the meeting. So there is interest, and I think people are ready to go forward with this.
I second.
I think it's a good thing.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second that we defer this ordinance. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Case number C-33-12, Historic Preservation. And I think as we get to this particular point, there was the opportunity to recommend that this be presented to the city council as presented to the board today in its entirety. Ms. Leah,
Nope. I agree with it.
would you care to make a motion?
I care to make a
Before
motion.
you make a motion, I had one thing, and we talked about it, in her original, email, you only had bottom, St. Park bottom, but they added Ledbetter to here.
There was an error in the title of a district, and that error has been corrected to reflect the correct name of that neighborhood and that area.
Plural, wasn't it, Mary?
Pardon
It
me?
was plural, wasn't it?
No, it was St. Park Bottoms,
Right. Bottoms.
right.
With an
And
S.
it should have been Ledbetter, Ledbetter, and
Right.
that's, I noticed that when I went through and read this.
Ledbetter Heights.
Ledbetter.
Ledbetter Heights, yes, ma'am.
So we good?
Yes, ma'am, yes, sir, we
Motion
good.
stands as amended.
Yes.
For corrected, I'm sorry. It's been motioned and properly second. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Case number CA3-12, Willis Knighton Hospital.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Mary, second by
I'll second.
Ms. Smith. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Case number SP 19-12, Steve Nichols.
Move approval.
Second.
Been motioned and properly second. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Case SP 21-13,
Motion
Burks,
approved.
Ellerby Road Farms. Motion by Dale, second by Ms. Smith. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Case number SP 22-12, Polaris.
So moved.
Motion by Mary, second by Ms. Smith. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Case number SC 23-12, Free State.
So moved.
No show.
They didn't come? No, sure. Yeah, but
Is
there
it a
wasn't
problem?
anything wrong with it.
Okay,
make a-
just want to make sure the record reflects. Go ahead. Comment, please.
What we've generally done in the past is on zoning applications, if the applicant doesn't show up, we defer. On subdivisions, we've not required the applicant to show up if there's no opposition or controversy. We always have the option to defer and make the applicant show up if there's some issue or question. So if we want to change policy and say they have to show up, we can certainly do that. I mean, Bossier does. In Bossier, no matter what you have, if you don't show up, they defer it. But that may be a discussion topic, because that would be a change in policy.
Yeah.
But-
Well, staff says that there was no problems
It's not.
in this request.
We know that.
And-
There's nothing wrong.
I just can't see why we can't go ahead and vote on it.
I mean, we can, and we always have in the past. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if we want to change that, that would actually be a change in our policy, and we would need to make that an official change.
All right, do we have a motion?
Did you move, Mayor?
Yeah.
Do
Second.
we have a second? All right. It's been motion by Ms. Wilkins, second by Mr. Ferdinand. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. Case number SP 24-12.
That's the one that would know.
This is the one I think we discussed deferring on Bickham.
Well, it said, no, this is the one that
The
no one
note-
was here,
Yeah,
and
that's
that
what I
the
have
staff
too.
had no problem.
That's the note I have too. I'm really confused now.
I move approval.
Second.
The motion and properly second. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Item number C 25-12, the daycare.
Make a motion to approve based upon the site plan submitted that starred with the note with new driveway to be in compliance with the request from DOTD. Second.
It's been motioned by Mr. Sprouls, second by Mr. Carvin. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Thank you. All right. Case number C 26-12/P5-12, Zeta Residential Facility, Ellerby Road. I believe this is Holy Angel.
Holy Angel.
That's right.
So
To
moved.
approve.
Motion by Ms. Mary, second by Ms. Leah. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Case number C 27-12, Tiger Construction.
Motion to approve with steps,
Yes, yeah.
Motion to approve with stiff.
fence, and more landscaping. I have.
Private Oaks,
I had an 8-foot high cedar
8 foot,
fence,
yeah.
and live oaks 12 to 15 foot high at a 15 to 20 foot spacing.
Oh, well, you really Pacific.
I did
No,
too.
It's
have
been
all
properly motioned with
that. I just
stipulations.
got landscape,
Second.
more landscape.
We have a second by Mr. Ferdinand. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. That motion was made by Desi, ladies and gentlemen over there. All right.
Make y'all motions.
Case number, and
No, it
pardon me
wasn't.
just a
That's
moment.
okay.
Case number 28-12, OTI, I'm sorry, LLC Ice Machine.
Motion approved.
Motion by Dale,
Second.
second by Mary. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. All right, case number 29-12, Fitness Center.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion
Wait a
by
minute,
Dr.
wait a
Wilson.
minute.
I'm
I have-
sorry, am I?
Comment. Is this the one, is this the fitness center?
Yeah.
Pole
Okay.
dance.
We all get a free pole dancing lesson.
Hey, Alan
Not
thought
me.
it should be for men too.
I'm real upset. You real upset? We can go, Alan, we'll go.
I want to see Alan do pole dance.
I just want to go and watch the pole dance.
Tell when we run late, can't you?
I don't want to cut off.
Punch
Go
up.
downhill.
All right, control your meeting, Mr. Chair.
I'm just
sorry.
embellishing the liveliness. Hey, see, young people, you're the ones that brought liveliness to this entire meeting. Thank you very much. The motion to approve by Dr. Wilson, second by Ms. Bessie Smith. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Y'all go and do a good job. Case number C-30-12, AutoZone.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mary, second by Larry. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Case number C-31-12, Rayleigh and Associates.
Motion to defer and continue.
Motion to defer and continue. Motion by Desi, second by Dale Carvin. All those in favor, please say yes.
I got
Okay.
some more to my
I'm
motion.
finna say, yeah, you got.
In addition to the motion to defer and continue, I would like for the staff to arrange a meeting between the developer and the neighborhood. We're looking for a different building facade and additional landscaping because we want a structure. If the structure's got to go there, we want one that's more compatible with the neighborhood than just the metal box that they propose.
All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. And if I remember correctly, the case number SC-20-12 is within the same realm of the original.
Yes, motion to defer and continue.
Motion to defer and continue by Desi, second by Dale. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried. Case number P4-12, J&J Exterminating.
So moved.
Second.
The motion by Mary, second by Larry. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Oppositions, no. Motion's carried.
My goodness.
We do have a couple of 2 or 3 items left to try and get covered. Let's see, now let me start off. Dara, did you take care of your business already?
I do have a couple more items to discuss in my master
You
plan.
may want to do those in haste.
I will do it as quickly as possible. I would just like to give a recap of the master plan committee meeting that took place on April 9th. 2 members of the parish commission were present, 2 members of the Metropolitan Planning Commission were present, and 2 members of the City Council were present. We discussed the way in which master plan considerations and recommendations are being incorporated into our everyday decision-making, including our decisions on applications, policies, ordinances, and so forth. We also presented to the parish commission representatives and the city council representatives the 5 MPC goals that you adopted in your March meeting. And finally, we have decided to meet monthly. The next meeting is May 7th at 11 a.m. in the MPC conference room. I believe Commissioners Colvin and Ferdinand have received their meeting reminder. Any other commissioners interested in attending, we welcome your attendance.
And we will have
on that
lunch.
Participation. We will have lunch available.
Am I on that committee? I think I'm on that
I think
committee.
so.
May 7th?
May 7th.
30?
I will make sure that you receive that email reminder.
Good notes. I'm gonna be out of town.
Expanded by the council.
You're on that
Right,
committee?
the city council has expanded their representation on that committee to 4 members that will now be Councilors McCulloch, Everson, Corbin, and Oliver Jenkins.
Which is great.
That is
What that
good.
shows is what I think we've all been wanting,
How about the Chatham
their
Parish?
interest they have in the master plan.
Yes.
Just a good question. What about the parish
How about the
commissioner?
the commissioners?
We would then tell, I suspect, once they hear that it's expanded, they may want to expand it.
Well, is Matthew Lynn on it?
Matthew Lynn and
John
Escaday
Now-
are.
That's good. I can ask them to get more people.
By the way, Dara's making this as a report, that's your committee. So what you really need to do is ratify or approve this formation of the committee makeup.
Did you say 4 council persons?
There are 4
For-
council.
They're not a quorum, Larry, I know where you're
Wait a
going.
minute. Yeah, 4 would be. You have
Well,
to give public notice with
It's
4.
not their meeting, though.
It's our meeting.
It's our meeting, and accordingly, Terry Scott was made aware of this concern.
Well, okay. Ann
And
Stratton is
Coach-
turning over in her grave.
Well, in fact, he
She
made
would
it
not
covered by
stand
our
for
city
that.
attorney sitting right
If
over there.
there's 4 elected
Toshi, have
officials,
you got a
she
comment on
would-
that?
She would not stand for it.
Gonna be more than 4.
I'm just saying 4 council persons. All right, Terry said, okay, I'm okay.
Well, hey, that was my immediate concern.
It doesn't matter.
I don't
I
want to be a
thought
city
maybe
council
even if 4 go meet with the mayor, I think only 3 can meet with the mayor at a time. Y'all better check
We
that.
were concerned with the legality and the Freedom of Information Act regulations on what constitutes as a public meeting, what type of notification would be required. The legal has advised, and we will be complying with those notifications.
As long as Terry happy, I'm happy.
I'm with you,
I gotta
Larry.
go to jail again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know. it's-
Right now, do we need a motion for this?
We need to approve,
Yeah.
All right, then we need,
we need approved minutes, please.
I would like for you to go ahead and make that.
Second,
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
second.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I don't know where our attorney is, but you let me run over that, sweetheart.
She's over there.
Parliamentary procedures, you'll let me miss the approval of the minutes. Stay with me now. Okay? All right. That's all you got to do is nod like this. I'll get it right. We have a
Chair, I
motion
do
to
have-
approve the minutes
sorry.
for
In the middle
April
of a
4
motion.
meeting. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Positions no. We need to go back and finish up with Dara.
Yes, sir. I do have one more item to discuss, and I have a memo to pass out. I'm not going to elaborate too much. I would like for you to read it, digest the information, and then be ready to discuss at our next meeting. But on April 5th, the Caddo Parish Commission voted unanimously to adopt a resolution that would urge and request the Metropolitan Planning Commission to give high priority to the planning of a safe and attractive pedestrian and bicycling network throughout Caddo Commission.
Ooh, good.
In the master plan, there is a recommendation for not only a citywide network, but a parish-wide network to encourage multimodal transportation and encourage transportation options for our citizens. I do have some concerns with the jurisdiction of the Metropolitan Planning Commission planning a parish-wide network, because it does go outside of our jurisdiction in terms of our planning area. It would require the coordination of all other local governments within Caddo Parish. So I have made a recommendation. I've included just an example scope of work that would be attached to such a parish-wide planning effort, and also a recommendation on what we can do in the interim to accommodate, plan for, and include alternative transportation accommodations in our street planning efforts, on the part of the city and on the part of the private developer as well. So please take a look at that information. If you would like for me to expand on some of the examples or recommendations or policies, please let me know, and I'd be glad to deliver something to your homes, email you, whatever is most convenient for you in your review of that information.
In this regard, would you want a mid-month meeting at lunch today? Several of the commissioners who went on the trip to LA were talking about some recommendations. That would be also a good time to bring up and discuss some of those ideas and thoughts that you heard about or read about or whatever or were involved with in LA. And but we could do a lunch meeting from 11:30 to 1:30, and hopefully make it productive and kind of hard-hitting. But talk about your LA trip and experiences, and talk about this proposal for the pedestrian and bicycle plan.
I think the question before the group is, are you interested in a mid-month meeting to bring this to closure that we're talking about?
I am, if I'm the only one.
Can we talk about some other things too?
Sure, whatever you guys want to put on the
Like
agenda.
level,
Your
luncheon
meeting.
meeting, working meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
What date is that?
It's 2 weeks from today,
It's in your,
and today is the 2nd, so that would be
Be May the
20th?
16th.
June 20th.
May 20th?
no.
May
it would be-
20th. May
May
20th.
16th is our mid-month.
14 days and 2 is 16.
Yeah, May-
Something's wrong with our
May
math.
16th.
Alan, what's the date? You got your BlackBerry
I'm
up?
looking at it, May 16th.
I got it.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
The 20th would have you up here on the weekend.
On noon?
Don't.
How do you ladies
11:30
feel
to
about midnight?
1:30, and then if y'all want to get here a few minutes late,
If you
that's
can.
fine too. But the idea would be to make it a working lunch and
Yeah.
relaxing.
Because I don't think it's fair. Wait till the gas goes down.
Okay,
I have a question.
go right ahead. We're
I'll pick
discussing
you
that,
up.
we're discussing the mid-month meeting.
I have a question. I watched the city council meeting, and I observed a lot of them asking you questions. And you said that you would be going into the different communities to get more input, and all we would have to do is invite you.
Absolutely.
Right.
That is part of my job description, to continue to work with and communicate with the public, neighborhood groups, community groups, organizations, churches, schools, to continue to educate them on planning and the way the master plan affects their community and the way that they live and work and play and learn in Shreveport.
Okay, we will be inviting you to one of our neighborhood meetings.
I'd be happy to attend.
I just wanted to.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Let me mention something, Mr. Chairman.
have a
You remember our priorities that we've already established. That comprehensive code rewrite is extremely critical to us. The fee study and the priorities as we've listed them out. The bicycle plan's great, other neighborhood planning's great. All these things are good, but as requests come in, the approach we're going to use is give you, okay, here's what it would be in a priority, here's what it would cost, or here's the scope of work. And if local government wants to fund it, fine, but we would hope they would consider the priorities of the code rewrite, just like today, the case you had on the dollar store. A code rewrite could help us invaluably on that. I mean, so that you would have the tools you could use to help things to fit in better. Neighborhood plans would be critical to that. But we're a long way away from getting those funded and done. But those priorities are important that we try to move down that list if we can. Dara's working on, and Roy had been working on, and I have too, the idea of finding sources of funding. In fact, Dara had a meeting last week with some folks that could easily fund some of this if they chose to. And but we're working on it, and but it is important. And the city council, I know Michael Corbin has really taken an interest in trying to get that comprehensive code rewrite done.
Yeah.
And
We
that's about-
really need to push that all we can, because,
Yeah.
you know, all of us have seen some stuff happen, and you know, when I look back, personally look back in the political wheel that was going on in the 80s and the 90s, some neighborhoods didn't get treated right.
And I can tell you one thing from my point of view and experience. Once we get that code rewrite underway, and I haven't really talked about it much with you, but for years I've been thinking about how do we speed up the decision process, but at the same time retain the control that we need to help our neighborhoods. And that's by using the MPC in a more authoritative position where your decision is all would be necessary unless it's appealed to a higher level. That's just a little rough idea. So you have a fair amount of MPC approval action that if no one appeals it would stop at your level. That way it's harder hitting, faster. You can also implement the master plan, which is your primarily, I think, responsibility. So there's some good ideas that will come out of that code rewrite that I think will really improve the quality of our city life and parish life.
All
By the
right.
way, Dara's become almost a broken record on the comprehensive code rewrite.
I get it in every opportunity I have.
But we do have an issue on the floor to determine whether or not this board will be interested in a mid-month meeting on May the 16th.
Particularly if we're gonna get a comprehensive presentation from Dale and Leah.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why we have.
And Windsor,
Yeah.
and Windsor.
Well, how about their staff members?
I have things that I would like to present to the board
Right.
as well.
And see, Roy will be there, and Alan was there, and
Mine
Stephen was there.
Presentations from the,
Mine will be short.
I'll be quick.
Well, Stephen and Alan and Roy were there
presentations
too.
from the
so-
folks who
But
went
I
on
have
a
some
Secret
things I'd like
Service
to
trip.
say.
motion, we have a mid-month meeting.
Motion is properly second. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Well, I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
On record, I appreciate the MPC, the parish commissioners, and the city councilors sending us to a meeting of
I
the
do
American Planning Association so we could learn how other cities not only let the constituents know what's coming up in front of them, handle the meetings better, and also be more diligent in following the facts on making decisions so things don't end up at the courthouse.
That's
So I
true.
think we've learned some valuable things at these meetings that we can share at this mid-month meeting and make tweak. What we do is good, but may tweak it a little bit to make it even better.
I can, you know, I'm a big fan of it too, because in my other life, when I was at AT&T, you know, benchmarking and best practices were things that really help us be more efficient, more competitive in the private sector, and we'll do the same thing here.
All right, as we move down the agenda, there's a couple of more things that I want to get on the table. One is that, as we all know, Chris Washington is no longer a member of this board. He resigned and has relocated to another part of the United States. And we also know and understand this board plays no role in filling that seat from where we sit. That is purely, as I can appreciate it, that seat was recommended to be filled by the parish commission, and eventually they will take care of that. The nominating committee has met as a result of the last meeting, and when this discussion came up, I'm sorry?
Who's the
I'm
nominating
just about to tell you. Leah Desmateau and Dale Carvin and Windsor Andrews on the nominating committee, they have met, and they've nominated Desi Sprouls to fill the unexpired seat of Chris Washington as vice president of the board. Now, the floor is now open for nominations for other members that may be interested in running for that particular seat. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So
I
moved.
nominate Larry Ferdinand. For
All
that
right, we
position.
got Larry Ferdinand nominated. Are there any other nominations? We'll entertain a motion to nomination cease. Can I
Good
get a motion?
campaign, Larry.
Nominations be closed on the two names.
I said a word.
All right. And because of the nominating committee bringing a name forward first, we'll vote on that one. All those in favor of Desi Sprouls filling the unexpired seat of Chris Washington as vice president, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those in favor, Larry? 2. Congratulations, Mr. Sprouls. You'll be the vice president at this particular time.
Mayor Chairman, can I say one thing?
Yes, sir. Please go
On
right
behalf
ahead.
of the nominating committee, we realized that Leah did not want to move up into the vice chairman spot.
I want
Desi
to keep the secretarial stuff.
Desi has done the chairman spot before. We knew this was going to be a short, unfilled term, and he can roll into it and be the chairman. Larry, we said it as a committee, wants to be an officer, and we want him to be an officer. So our plans were him to roll up. When Leah rolls up, secretary, vice chairman, chairman. So not that we didn't have that on the plate. We knew that, and I just want to give you some details where we came to that decision.
Any other business to come before the board? I believe I saw one other thing.
Great.
Got comments from board members.
We had already covered the famous report.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Chairman
That's what I was trying to
Lunch,
get to, yeah. All right, now, I know Larry had a comment. You told me a few minutes ago.
60 seconds.
Go right ahead.
Charles, I know nobody else have this problem in terms of senior moments and having birthdays. But I spend a lot of time looking at stuff on my desk, so I need much notice as I possibly can with the fact that I got 4 daughters, 4 grandchildren, 2 quasi-elected positions.
Yeah, I voted for it.
I was trying to get that information relative to NLCOG and the Department of Transportation a little more quicker. Now, the NLCOG thing was pretty much self-explanatory, but the other one from the Department of Transportation, I would have needed some additional help. So any help you guys can give to me, because I don't know nobody else up here have my kind of senior moment, will be appreciated, because, you know, you got, you know, when you volunteer, you're doing a whole bunch of things,
Oh, I
okay?
agree.
So I appreciate staff helping out in the future. The second thing I'd like to deal with is looking at sort of a reverse timeline for the budget. When do you guys supposedly got to hand off the budget to the city? Is that September or August?
Oh, well, it's before then. Oh, well, no, the city council gets it by October 1.
Okay.
All budget requests have to be turned in to them. They don't have to act until December 15th.
But I thought the budget director wanted somewhere around August or September.
Well, actually, we start around June, July, on the budget for next year.
Yeah, I know, but what I was gonna say, Mr. Chairman, do we have a finance committee? Because my personal preference.
I can answer that question.
Go ahead.
Go right, I got that. I was prepared to recommend committee assignments last month.
Okay.
And when we walked in and sat down and we find out that Chris had resigned, then I chose to wait until after we had the election today. Then all I've got to do is fill in the blank spaces, turn them in to Ms. DT over there, and she'll send those out to you, asking you if you choose to serve on those committees. I've already made those committee assignments. And then if in fact you say yes, we're going to print it. If you say no, I'd rather be on another committee, we'll roll you over and allow you to be on that committee if that's okay.
That's fine.
Great.
But I want to be sure that the finance committee from this commission, as well as the full commission, get a chance to look at the budget before the budget director see one peep at our budget, okay? I want to be sure, because that's a personal peeve for me, okay? And I think it's good for all of us, really. But I want to be sure, because a couple of times it went to them and we hadn't seen it. I think we saw it after the fact. And I don't think that's good for sitting commissioners, okay? That's my 2 cents.
All right, anybody else? Dr. Wilson?
I have one statement. Since the parish pays money for the master plan, when we think of all these committees that we are developing to do things in the master plan, we need to put at least one person from the parish on there.
Who did you say was?
There's 2 of them on
I
there.
thought it was.
Just so
There's
you
2
know.
on there now.
There's 2 on there.
Yes.
Thank you.
John Escudé and
Escudé.
Beth
Lynn and
They
who?
pay- they
Lynn and
got a lot of-
Escudé.
Escudé.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
Let me out of here, huh?
Very eerie motion.
Here we go. Here we go, long one. Long one.
Well, ID, how was there?
Oh, by the way, folks, I want y'all to know that the young man in the back there,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
handling all that equipment is one of my former students.
Oh,
That's right.
I've heard that.
what is it for?
Tell him what you're doing that for.
What's that for?
Oh, boy. Not good.
Okay. All right. I think you did good, sir. Now, is that one large one?
Oh, good.
Who are you?
And now, guess what? They get in position.
Get ready
They get in
to-
position.